A number is picked at random from the first three positive odd numbers, and a number is picked at random from first four prime numbers. The two numbers are multiplied to get a score. Complete the table. To answer this question, you need to know what are odd numbers and what are prime numbers. So odd numbers are the numbers which are not the multiples of 2. So in other words, I would say if you divide an odd number by 2, you get a remainder of 1. So there are 1, 3, 5, 7. These are all odd numbers. And the prime numbers have only two factors, the number itself and 1. So the prime number begins from 2 and they go all the way like 2, 3, 5, 7, and these are all prime numbers. To fill this table, first we need to fill this prime number, remaining prime number and the odd number. So 2 and 3 are the first two prime numbers. The next will be 5. And for the odd number, the missing one is 3 here. 1, 3, 5. These are all the odd numbers. These are the odd numbers in this range. Now we have to complete this table by multiplying these numbers. So 1 times 2 gives you the product 2. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 5 is 5, then 7. Next is 3 times 2 gives you the product 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 sevens is 21. 5 twos is 10. The next is 5 fives is 25. 5 sevens is 35. So we fill the table. Now you have to answer the question. What is the probability that the score is a square number? So now again I will add this square number also you need to know in order to solve this question. You have to know, you have to have information about all these things when you're working on such questions. So square number are those numbers which multiply itself to get the answer. For example, if I take 2 times 2 gives me answer 4. So 4 is a square number because its square root is 2. The other square number is 9 because 3 times 3, a number multiplies to itself to give the square number. So from this table, how many of them are square numbers? We have 9 is the square number because 3 times 3 gives you 9. And the other square number is 25 here. 5 times 5 gives you 25. So these are the only two square numbers in this list, in this table. So to find the probability that the score is a square number, so we first find out how many total numbers are there. We have got 4 columns and 3 rows, so 4 threes is 12. So there are total 12 outcomes from which the favorable ones are 2. So this is the probability of getting the score as a square number. You can simplify this and write it as a fraction. So 2 out of 12 is equivalent to saying 1 over 6. Simplify fully 8m plus 4 minus 2m plus 7. So this expression has got like terms. So here you need to know what are like terms. Like term is a term which has got the same variable, which is of the same form. Either it has to be a constant number or it has to have, if there is a variable attached to it, it should be the exact same variable in the same form. So in this case, we've got 8 and 2m. Looks like they have the same variable attached. They look like they are in the same form. And 4 and 7 are the constants, so we can add them as well. So starting with 8m and 2m, 8m take away 2m gives you 6m. So 8 minus 2 is 6. So you get 6m when you manipulate these like terms. And then 4 plus 7 is 11. So the simplest form of this expression is 6m plus 11. I cannot simplify it further because these two are not like terms. Simplify fully half c times 6d. So we have got these two terms where they are getting multiplied. So when the terms are getting multiplied, we operate the numbers together and the letters together. So it's as good as saying half times 6 times cd. We can write it in this way as well. So half of 6 is 3 and the cd remains. So the answer is 3cd. The multi-pack costs 10% less than 6 single bags. Work out the cost of the multi-pack. So a multi-pack is like 6 bags of crisps, and it has got 10% less cost than each individual bag of a crisp. So in each bag here costs 55p. So 6 bags will be equivalent to 6 times 55. So 55 times 6, I get 6 5s is 30, 6 5 is 30 plus 3, 330p. So the cost, if I buy 6 single bags of crisps, I have to pay 330p. But instead, if you go for this multi-pack of 6 bags of crisps, it has like 10% less cost. So 10% lesser than 330. So how much will that be? So 10% of 330 is 33p. So you need to take away 33p from 330 to get the cost of this multi-pack. So this is 2, 10, 10 take away 3 is 7, 2, and then I can borrow one more. So here it's 12, 12 take away 3 is 9, 297. So the cost of this multi-pack, which has got like 6 bags of crisps in it, is 297p. Answer has to be in pounds, so you divide 297 by 100 to get the answer equivalent to in pounds. So that's 2.97 pounds. Write the ratio 6 to 2 in the form n to 1. Now I have to convert this ratio in the form n to 1. It means that this part of the ratio has to be made 1. How can you convert 2 to 1? I mean, how can you make 2 is 1? You can divide 2 by 2 to make it 1. So if you are dividing this part of the fraction by 2, of the ratio by 2, you have to divide the first part of the ratio also by 2. To make it, 6 divided by 2, or half of 6 is 3. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So the answer, the n value here is 3, 3 to 1. X and Y are two different positive numbers. For each statement, tick the correct box. So if we take any two positive numbers, maybe 2 and 3, so let X be 2 and Y be 3, it wants you to say which of them is true, and we have to pick the correct statement here. So if X is added to Y, the answer is always positive. Is that true? Let's figure out. So if we take two positive numbers and add them together, the answer is always positive. We know that. So 2 plus 3 gives you 5 here. Or if you take any other positive numbers, when you add them, the answer is always positive. So this statement is always true. Now X take away Y. If you subtract these two numbers, the answer is always negative. Is that true? Is the answer always negative? Let's figure out. So if you subtract 3 from 2, if you take 2 minus 3, I get a negative answer. Well, it's true from this example. But if we take other way, if we subtract 2 from 3, the answer is positive. So here I'm getting different answer. I mean, once it's positive and the other is negative. So I couldn't say for sure when this statement is true always. So sometimes it's true, but it's not like always true. So I will go with the answer that, so X minus Y is negative is sometimes true, because we have seen it's not the case when I'm taking the other way. On the grid, draw a shape congruent to triangle A. So a congruent shape is the one which is like the same shape, which is of the same size. That's what we mean by congruence. So it has to have the same side lengths and the same angles. So to draw the congruent shape, you can have any orientation. I'm going with the same one here. So this one of the sides of shape A has got like 3 units. So let me draw a straight line here, 3 units. A little better. Okay, and then it meets at, so this part, this has it has got a height of 3 units, so it has to have a height of 3 units. So some here I have to join this point so that the height is 3 units here. So this shape looks exactly like identical to shape A. So I have drawn the congruent shape of triangle A. On the grid, enlarge shape B by scale factor of 1/3. So you need to enlarge this shape using the scale factor 1/3. So every side of this shape has to undergo a change of like times it with 1/3 to get the enlarged shape. Well, when you're timesing it with a fraction, the size of the shape will change. It will become smaller here. But we still call it as enlargement anyways. So starting with any of the sides, suppose if I consider this side of the shape B, it has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has got 6 units here. So this side length is 6 units. So 6 times 1/3. I need to multiply every side length by a factor of 1/3. So 1/3 of 6 is 2. So the shape which is transformed, it's transformed, will have a length of 2 units now. So let me draw it as a straight line. So this length is now 2 units. And what about this side? It has got 3 units. So 3 times 1/3. 3 times 1/3 is 1. So this is now 1 unit. So if you times this by a scale factor of 1/3, it's 1 unit now. And again, this side is 3 units, so it will be 1 unit. And then I join them. So this shape is the enlargement of shape B, which has undergone a scale factor of 1/3. 35 books are either for adults or for children. The number of adults to children ratio is 6 to 1. How many more books are there for adults than for children? We've got the total number of books are 35, which are being divided between adults and children books in the ratio of 6 to 1. So we need to first figure out how many books are there for actual number of books are there for adults and how many actual books are there for children. So we have got the total is 35 and it has to be divided among them in like 7 parts because 6 plus 1 is 7. So dividing 35 into 7 parts, so it's like saying if I've got a big box here, sorry. So this box has to be divided into 7 equal parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So well, if it doesn't look, it's like exactly of same size, but this is just for the sake of understanding. I've drawn it. So this number 35 has to be divided equally among these boxes. So how much value will go in each of them? So 5 if you do 35 divided by 7, each one of them will have 5 parts or 5 units in them, right? Because 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, all of them, like 7, if you add 5 times 7, you get 35. Now, this will give me the actual number of books for adults and children. Adults has got like 6 parts of this. So 6 times 5 is 30. There are 30 adult books. I mean 30 books for adults and 5, which is 5 books for children, to make a total 35 books. It wants you to find how many more adult books are there for adults than for children. How many more books are there for adults? There are 30 and these are 5. So 30 take away 5 gives you 25. There are 25 more books for adults than for children. The shape is made from a semicircle and a square. The side length here is 6 centimeters. On the centimeter grid below, make an accurate drawing of this shape. So this shape has got like a square and a semicircle is attached to it. The square will have each of its side length as 6 centimeters. You need to draw this on the grid, which is a centimeter grid. So each of these small boxes is worth 1 centimeter. So first I will draw a square of side 6 centimeters. I can start from here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a square and there is a semicircle needs to be attached. So take this and this, I mean the radius of the semicircle has to be half of this. That's 3 centimeters. So this is 3, 3, yeah. So this is the accurate drawing of the shape given above. We can mark the side length. This is 6 centimeters, 6 centimeters, 6 centimeters. And this radius is, the diameter here is again 6 centimeters, the total length here. A car travels 4 miles in 5 minutes. Work out the average speed in miles per hour. The time has to be converted into hours. So we will first figure out how much is 5 minutes equal to in hours. So 5 minutes in hours will be 5 over 60 because 1 hour has got 60 minutes. So 5 parts of 60 is like 1/12 of an hour. So 5 minutes is 1/12 of an hour. So we have got the time and the distance is 4 miles. You have to find the speed. Speed is given by the formula. Speed is distance divided by time. So the distance here is 4 divided by the time is 1/12. So this is like 4 divided by 1/12. When you're dividing a fraction, we use this method. We times this and then make the fraction as its reciprocal. So it's as good as saying 4 times 12. That is 48. 4 times 12 is 48. The answer is 48 miles per hour. The point J is 0,12 and the point K is 510 are points on the straight line JKLM. And JK is equal to KL is equal to LM. Work out the coordinates of the point M. So we have got this information. The coordinates of the point J and K are given to us. And it says that the distance between J to K is equal to distance between K to L, and which is in turn equal to LM. So how to figure out the coordinates of the point M? Well, I can see This from J to K, how are we changing? I mean, how are the coordinates changing? J has the x coordinate 0 here, and the y coordinate, it has gone 12 units up here. From that, the K is now 5 units, so it has gone 5 units on the x-axis. So this is 5, and it has gone up 10 units here. So this is 10 units. So from 12 to 10, it has gone down by 2 units. So 2 units you have gone down. So same thing will happen for the point L. So from J to K, you have like added 5. Let me write it properly. So from 0 to 5, it's like plus 5. And from 12 to 10, you have to take away 2 from this. So 12 minus 2 gives you 10. So we follow the same pattern here to get the coordinates of the point L. It will be again 5 units added to the x coordinate to make it 10. And for the y coordinate, you have to take away 2. So that's 8. Now the answer for the point M will be, it has to go further right towards the x coordinate to make it 10 plus 5, which is 15 on the x-axis. And for the y-axis, you have to go down by 2 units. So 8 minus 2 is 6. So the answer is 15, 6. The coordinates of the point M is 15, 6. Well, you have to show here working. So every x coordinate you can write here. So every x coordinate, you can write in your own words. So for every x coordinate, we add 5, and y coordinate, or the y value, you take away 2. So this is the rule, this is the pattern we are following to get the answer here. Okay, you have to write the final answer here, which is 15, 6. The questions from 19, so all the questions from 19 to the last question, I've already covered them in the higher tier, paper 1. I think in the part 3 video, you can check them there.